Hi everyone. I am so excited. I'm sliding off my chair. Actually, yesterday, when I told my clients who I was interviewing, I did slide off my chair. I'm interviewing and chatting with Brad Yates, and I have watched and probably have one of the people who've racked up those millions of views on your YouTube videos.
Thank you.
Yes. And I've got some of your beautiful courses, and I have followed you for I don't know how many years, and I don't even know how I found you. And I'm so grateful that I did. And a couple weeks ago, I thought to myself, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to ask Brad if he would chat with me and tap with me. And you said yes. And then I slid off my chair again. And so here we are. And we're going to chat all things resistance, receiving. And one of my favorite things, and I'm jumping ahead, but I just want to give people a taste of what's coming. But one of my favorite things that you say, which I will say took me a while to wrap my brain around, I had to hear you, I had to rewind and get you to repeat it a few times. It's when you speak about how the more we want, the more we say we don't have the thing we want, is the more we're resisting it. And I love that. So that's the big piece that we're going to start with. But first, as we were saying before we hit record, you've probably answered this question 50 million times. But Brad, can you tell us how you got into tapping, how you got into EFT? Because you're such a huge voice in this tapping world and in this world. And I genuinely don't know, even though I followed you for so long. So over to you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Cassie. Yeah, how does a grown man find himself tapping on his face for a living? Well, I actually started out as an actor. So I had traveled the world doing theater. I studied acting in London. I finally decided to go to Hollywood to be a movie star, as one does. And while I was there, I met a woman, fell in love, and got married.
Amazing.
And when our first child was on the way, I thought I might need a backup job. I, I'm not a doctor, but I played one on TV on Days of Our
Yes.
Lives, but only for a few days, and not enough to support a family. So I saw an ad for hypnotherapy school, and I thought that would be an interesting side career. I've always been fascinated by the power of the mind, and went through the training and started building a small practice while still pursuing my acting career. Fast forward a couple years, and our second child is on the way, and I realized at this point, as much as I love acting, doing personal development work is my calling.
Mm.
It's like this is what I'm here for. This fulfills me in a way that acting doesn't. Nothing against acting. It's like, well, because acting got me there.
Yeah.
But it's like this is what I'm meant to be doing. So we left Los Angeles and moved up to Northern California. And through some other hypnotherapists, I heard about this energy psychology conference where this guy's teaching a course on tapping called EFT, and thought, sounds interesting. You know, for folks who first come into contact with EFT and you're tapping on your face, they go, "That's really weird. That's too weird." As an actor, I had gone to Ringling Brothers Clown College, so this was not the strangest thing I'd ever done
Yeah.
up to that point. So I might have been a little more open-minded than some, and found it fascinating. Particularly, the key thing that day in this workshop was when he had us tapping on chocolate cravings. Gave everyone a piece of chocolate and said, "Scale of 0 to 10, how much do you want that chocolate?" And I was a bit of a chocoholic at the time, and I'm like,
Mm.
8, 9. It's gone. Can I have another one? Um, and then we just tapped for a few moments on really want that chocolate. It's going to taste so good. And after a few moments of tapping, I could not eat the chocolate.
Oh my
I
gosh.
tried taking a bite of it, and it was like, oh, that's gross. It just tasted like chalky chemicals. And I didn't know it at that moment, but I wouldn't go on to eat chocolate for 2 years.
Oh my God.
I recovered. Don't worry, I got better.
Yeah. I was going to
But
say, can we undo that?
yeah. I have gone on to be able to enjoy chocolate since then, but I can also turn it off and go on sugar fasts when I just feel a need for a reboot. Um, and it's not a matter of willpower or anything like that. It
Mm.
wasn't, oh, I can stop myself from eating chocolate. It's like I just had no interest.
It's
Um,
amazing.
so it's like, wow, this is really fascinating. So after that conference, I started introducing it little by little into my hypnotherapy sessions. And then little by little, they became tapping sessions with still a
Yeah.
little bit of hypnosis at the end. And then And then YouTube came along, and I thought, wouldn't it be really cool if there's a tapping video that people could start their day with? And I'll
Yes.
call it Tap of the Morning. And that's all I intended was that one video. It's like, oh, I have a video. I had to have someone else help me upload the video. Didn't know how to do that. And it's like, okay, I've got a video on YouTube. Yay, I'm done. And then it was like 6 months later, I thought, I should have a video for people to end their day. I'll call it Tap of the Evening, and then I'm done.
Yes.
And then I had another idea, and now I think there's over 1,600 because I
It's
don't even
amazing.
know what they're all about anymore.
Oh, I love it. And I love how you just let it like that. It's such a journey of just trusting the process and bringing it in slowly. Like you didn't think I need to do this immediately and I need 50 videos up by next week. You
Yeah,
just did one because that's what the need was and that's what channeled through. And then you
yeah,
just let that sit and integrate until the next idea was like, and now we need to end the day.
yeah.
I love it.
And now the
Um,
ideas keep popping. I'm constantly, making notes to myself. I probably have over 1,600 ideas of videos that I haven't shot yet.
yes.
And just over the last couple of days, like, oh, I got a few minutes before between clients. What are the last couple ideas? Okay, let's shoot some videos. And
Yeah.
so now I've got them stacked up for months.
And I love because before we were speaking, before we hit record, you were telling me that you just channel, it just drops in the
Yeah,
tapping. Can you tell us about that? Because I am a huge, I've written 3 books and I say that so much of my writing and my creativity, it just drops in. And I will ask the energy of my book. So if I was stuck on a chapter, I would say to the book, I'm really stuck on chapter 3. Can you work on it and let me know when it's done? And then I would just get back to I don't write in chronological order. I'd be like, I'll be on chapter 17 while you're finishing chapter 3. And then chapter 3 would drop in. And I still had to process and write it, but it just landed. So can you tell us your process for your tapping?
yeah, Cassie. To me, that's how any creativity works. So Gary Craig, the founder of EFT,
Mm,
says it's through us, not by us,
yeah.
and that's been said by other people before. Um, and for me, it's a matter of just being open to the ideas. So, like when I come up with an idea for a video, I may only have one word. I may
Yeah.
not know anything more than that. So, let's say one of the ones I uh, shot the other day was the idea of having fun with things.
Mm,
Like, when you have difficult tasks to do or just menial tasks to do, it's like, what if you could have fun with it? Let's shoot a video on that. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. So I'll just say, hey, sometimes there are things that aren't fun, but let's have some fun with it. I choose to have fun with these things. And then I'm just opening myself up. It's like, okay, I'm here, bring it.
yes.
And it comes through. And same with when I do live workshops.
Yes.
I'll stand up in front of a crowd and I have nothing planned because it's going to be the audience. We're going to co-create it together. I'm going to ask people, what stops you from living your best life? What are the fears and doubts that say, I can't do this, I can't have this, I'm not allowed, I don't deserve, whatever it is? Great, even though I'm afraid I don't deserve it. And so some of it will be formed by the things they say,
Mm,
but then it's just going to be the ideas. And to me, that's what all creativity is. But we block it for whatever reasons. Like I'm afraid of being good at this. I'm afraid of writing a great song. I'm afraid of writing a great book. I'm afraid of being seen. I'm afraid of the judgment and criticism. So it's writer's block or whatever it is. I can't put myself out there because part of me is afraid of knowing what could be there. So for me, the tapping process, I'm clearing that in the process. So it's like
yes.
I'm completely clearing it's like, a prism, the light comes through it and comes out as a rainbow. That's
Mm,
what we are as creative beings. It comes through us and we color it in a certain way. It's going to come through someone else differently. And so this is just a matter of clearing the crystal, the
yes.
prism, so that the light comes through even more clearly, even more easily.
I love that. And I've found, because I've been coaching for over a decade, and I found that the less I prepare, the more fun I have, the better the session and the call is. And I found that years ago because I would have, let's say I was running a workshop, I would start writing pages of notes and try to have this like perfect outline. And in the preparation, it became an over preparation. And then my channeling and my receiving was actually blocked because I was like, oh, I need to stick to the plan that I wrote, and the plan keeps me safe. But the plan also kept me blocked and then following this perfect in air quotes.
Yeah.
And one day I was like, I'm not going to do a plan. And I just would do some dot points, like literally, like just little. And this is what I have. I did write some, for everyone listening and watching, I did create some notes in case I need them. I've already not looked at them. But the other two things I wrote on my note paper here are just two things that I want to bring up today. And that's, I could just go with that. And so I just start to do little dot points, and that's it.
Yeah.
Same with my podcast episodes. I'll get an idea, I write 3 or 4 dot points, and then I just talk. And if I had too much to say before, I would lose my flow and I would probably not, it wouldn't feel like me because it's too rigid.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
I tried to write out a script,
Mm.
a tapping script, oh, this would be the great thing, this would be the right thing. I mean, still, I'd be channeling in the process of writing it. But then if I tried to memorize it and then do it, because the ideas would be coming, it's like, no, that was great for the first draft, but here's what
Yeah.
you were saying now. I shot a video, it was yesterday or the day before. And it was going great. It's like, this is a really great video. And I realized I hadn't hit record.
Oh no.
And
Yeah.
I was crushed. Like, oh, what a great video. It's like, I got to shoot it again. It's going to be completely different.
It will be
And I'm
completely
trying to
different.
remember what were the good points. It's like, it doesn't matter.
No.
I'm going to trust source is going to tell me what it needs to be. And is it going to be as good as the other one? Well, it's going to be better for some people.
Yeah.
What I said the first time through might have been more right for some people, but other people, I'm going to trust that maybe there's a reason why I didn't hit record, and what came out the second time was going to be more valuable to more people. No way of knowing, so why not just assume the more positive and joyful choice?
Yes. That happened to me yesterday. Well, I was recording a tapping video, and there's building across the street. And of course, that's when they chose to pump their music. And it was really
Ah, yes.
distracting. And I have 2 little kids. I can usually tune out distractions and noise, but for some reason, every time I wasn't speaking, listening to their music was pulling me out of my flow. And what I
Yeah.
did was and I'm going to do this later, I'm going to pull a card for us from my belief balance deck. Um, I had pulled a card to start the tapping video, and I pulled stubborn, and I was talking about self-sabotaging, and thoughts of like when something good happens in our business, how we can sometimes think something bad has to happen. And I was
Yeah.
like, yes, stubborn is the best emotion for this because there can be a stubborn thought, a stubborn belief. No, if something good happens, something bad has to happen. And I'll cross that out for anyone listening.
Yeah. Tap
And
tap it
then
out.
tap it out. And then the music from next door, I was like, I lost my track so much, my flow, that I was like, I'm redoing it. And then, of course, I pulled a different card and it was still great. And then something happened. I was like, I'm redoing it because I also recorded it straight into Vimeo where I can pause, but I can't edit easily. I was like, I want to do this in one flow. I don't want to edit this. Anyway, on my third time round, I pulled the stubborn card again, and you'll see me in the video. I go, yes. And anyone else watching is like, she got really excited about that emotion. But for me, I was like, we came full circle.
Yeah.
That's actually the card, and any card that comes out of this deck is magic, and I trust it 100%. But I was like, yes, we got back to the stubborn card because that's just where we needed to be. And then that's the video. That's the video that went up on YouTube yesterday. Me exclaiming with joy that I got stubborn. Um,
Perfect.
yes. Okay, so now I am going to ask you one of the lovely questions that I prompted here because I really like the questions. So let's go back to what that beautiful piece about resistance, about you say,
Resistance. Yeah.
yeah, the more that we
So,
say, yeah, you go.
well, so what it is, and this is sort of the philosophy behind most of the work I do, is
Mm,
the extent to which we don't have what we say we want tends to be the extent to which we're resisting it.
mm,
So if I say I want to have a certain amount of money and I don't have it, I always come from the standpoint of there's resistance on my part.
right.
The universe has whatever I want. It's possible. So if I'm not experiencing it, it tends to be the extent to which I'm resisting it. There may be certain things outside of my control. If I say what I want is to be able to fly without an airplane, it may not just be my resistance. I
Maybe
don't
not.
know. It's possible. You know, things that have never happened are happening all the time. That's a
Yes.
quote I heard recently. So open to the possibility that that's, human beings may be possible of things that we can't even fathom right now because we're doing things that at one point we couldn't fathom.
Yeah.
But chances are it's not my resistance that causes gravity. Uh, but um, but most of the other things, they're available, and I'm not taking the actions to get them.
Mm.
So I'm going to just come from the standpoint of the extent to which I don't have the financial well-being, the relationships, the health, whatever that might be, there's something inside of me resisting that, not because I'm bad or stupid or weak or lazy, but because I have old programming telling me that it's not safe or not appropriate or I don't deserve it to have what I say I want. So I am resisting it to protect myself. That's why the other quote that I often use is self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love.
Mm.
So rather than beating ourselves up for that resistance, oh, I can't believe I'm resisting more money. I can't believe it's like, no, I choose to love and appreciate that part of me that is desperately trying to protect me from something that, because of some misunderstanding, I'm convinced would be bad for me.
Yeah. I love that, and I do NLP as well. And in NLP, our parts work, the part that wants the thing and the part that doesn't want it, they
Yeah.
actually want the same outcome. They both want safety, or they both want love, or they both want freedom. They're just going about it into
Yeah.
directly, completely opposite ways.
Yeah.
But it's really beautiful when we can come to the parts, when we see that the part that doesn't have the thing you want wants the same thing. And a lot of the work I do with my clients is helping them to release shame around what they don't have or actions they didn't take. And it's exactly that. It's your sabotage. I was working with a client yesterday, and we cleared something so quickly, and there were tears. And it was because I just helped her see that the reason you didn't do that thing was, here's the reason why. And it was like you could just feel her heart open and soften.
Yeah. One of my favorite things from NLP is the presupposition that we are always doing the best we can in any moment,
Yeah.
given our circumstances and our programming. So when we can look back and look at the biggest mistakes that we've made, if you could open your brain and follow the neural pathways and look at all of the events and all the programming up to that moment, and look back all the way back, and then you come back, it's like, I totally see why I did that.
Yeah.
That was the best I could do in that moment. Now, I want to change things so that I have more options and I can do differently now. It's not the best that I could potentially do. It's the best I could do at that moment with where I was at and the programming that I had. And then I can release shame. There's
Yeah.
there's no shame in opening the only door that was unlocked at that moment.
Yeah, and the thing with shame is that we can't, and I've felt this so strongly in my life before. When we're holding on to shame, there's no room for curiosity, there's no room for reflection, there's no room for growth, because we're being so hard on ourselves with that 2020 vision. I should have done
Yeah.
this, I could have done this, I would have done that. But at the time, you didn't, for, as you said, all beautiful reasons
Yeah.
because of what you wanted, reasons because as you said, the self-sabotage, misdirected self-love.
Yeah.
But it's so,
Survival. It was a matter of survival in that moment. That's why I have the quote from Walt Whitman up here: "Be curious, not judgmental."
yeah,
Because in that place of judgment and shame, yeah, that's a stressful place. And when we're stressed out, the prefrontal cortex goes bye-bye. So that's where the curiosity is. That's where the thinking is, where we can sit there and look at, let me analyze this. Let me see what's working. We talk about Thomas Edison inventing the light bulb. It took 1,000 tries. If he had beat himself up, oh, I screwed up again. I'm such an idiot. I'm such a loser. 1,000, he would have never gotten to 1,000 times.
yeah,
He would have shut down after 2 or 3 times, like most of us do.
yeah,
Because there wouldn't be, but it's that, oh, that didn't work. What else might be going on? What else can I try? And yeah, that was a great point. That when we let go of that shame, then we can get curious, and then we can figure out, oh, isn't that interesting?
mm. Yeah. It's a really helpful. And also, I think sometimes we don't realize it's shame. We just think, oh, I just should have done it differently. I wasn't enough. I didn't do it right. Comparison comes in. Someone else would have done that so much better than I would. Or we compare with other versions of ourselves. If that
Yeah,
if that was me 5 years ago, do you know how I would have done that differently? And we don't realize it's shame. And the shame is because like I want to say insidious, but it's also so protective.
Absolutely. That and that's the key, Cassie. Is not shaming ourselves for feeling shame, which we often do. It's like,
Exactly.
oh, I should be so involved. It's like, no, it's misguided self-love.
Yeah.
I am only feeling shame because I believe that's protecting me.
Mm.
If it didn't feel like it was protecting me, if I didn't feel I needed it, I wouldn't feel it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what rather than getting mad at myself for feeling shame or being ashamed of being ashamed, it's like, what is the function of this behavior? What is the why am I choosing to hold on to shame? What am I afraid would happen if I didn't have this shame?
Mm.
That's why I say that your self-sabotage is brilliant. It's so that when we beat ourselves up, it's like, oh, I had this opportunity to write my book and I didn't do it. I sat there and I watched television, and I'm so ashamed of myself for not doing that. And it's brilliant because now I've been trained to beat myself up for what I've failed to do or what I've done
Mm.
wrong. If I've eaten a box of cookies, even though I said I'm on a diet, oh, I am required by law to beat myself up and to feel this shame about this. And it's brilliant because if I still have some time today to work on my book, and I'm afraid of writing my book because that's the only reason I'm not working on it is because I'm
Yes.
afraid of it being exposed and being out there. I'm resisting writing it. Oh, now that I'm onto myself, shoot, I've got time to write. No, but I've got to beat myself up first. I have to
Yes.
shame and oh, I'm such a loser. Oh, darn, now it's bedtime.
It's
Oh, tomorrow. It's
And
brilliant.
I know it reminds me what you just said of what Brene Brown always says about shame. Guilt is when
Yes.
we think we've done something wrong, but shame is when we think we are wrong. And then
Yes.
it, as you said, it makes it so much like if we think we're wrong or we think we're a bad person, we're also then going to create connections between us not deserving the thing that we really want, which adds to the shame we already feel about not having the thing we want. And then it's like the image I get is like trying to push water uphill with a sieve. Like it's just not gonna, you're just, how exhausting. And so then we have to clear the shame that we can't tell the shame. We just think it's because we're not good enough. Added on top of the thing around feeling unworthy of receiving it, but it's all coming from shame that we can release
Yeah.
because the part of us that doesn't have it still loves us.
There is that part of us that knows we are absolutely good enough.
Yeah.
For everyone watching this, obviously you know you're good enough because you wouldn't spend time watching an interview like this if you didn't know that you were worthy and deserving of information that could make your life better.
Mm.
So you know that you're worthy and deserving of self-care and self-love. So the question is, if I have a story about myself of not being good enough, why?
Yeah.
What am I afraid would happen if I let myself in on the truth that of course I'm good enough? The expression I use over and over in my videos is you are a magnificent child of the universe, worthy and deserving of the best this world has to offer. There is nothing that is too good for you.
Mm.
Because if part of me really embraces that, boy, I could get myself into all kinds of trouble. I could create a life that so many people around me would be so envious and they'd be so mad. It's like, good. Then let them be inspired to, they can sit there and sulk. They can
Mm.
be pissed off, or they can say, ooh, I'll have what you're having. Please and
Yes.
thank you. It's like,
Yes.
good. Let me tell you how to do it. Tapping can help. There's other things that you can do. NLP, there's all kinds of, hypnosis, there's all kinds of great tools that you can use,
Mm.
but but do it. There's no point if you know if it's a hot day and somebody is offering free lemonade and you're
Yes.
refusing to have some and I'm like, oh, you're not going to have some and you're going to be mad if I have some. Well, I guess neither of us should have some.
Yeah.
But that's what the lemonade is there for.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's like, why should I deprive myself because you're choosing to deprive yourself rather than I'm going to have some. I'm going to say, oh, that's so good. You really ought to get in on this. And
Yes.
then we both have some lemonade and we
Yes.
both enjoy life more. And then we share that with other people and everybody's enjoying lemonade and the world becomes a much happier place.
Yes. You know, it
Please
reminds
and
me,
thank you.
yeah, it's like when my kids, if I make them food and they want the food that's on my plate, it's like we were born wanting it. And then something happens. And it's so funny actually, because my year 12 jersey, you know how you get it like a name? I don't know if they do it in the States, but in Australia, we get in our last year of school, we get a jersey, like a school jumper, and on the sweater in America, and you put your
Yeah.
like a funny name or your surname on the back. And I want one because I wanted one of everything. I was like, I want that, and I want that, and I just wanted, like, my desire was so big that everyone was like, when we were writing on our form, what are you going to put in a jumper? Everyone was like, Cass, you need to have I want one because it's just what like part of who
It's your
you are. It's
catchphrase.
just that was my catchphrase,
Yeah.
and it's yeah, we are born knowing that we can receive. Like my kids will come to me like, I want that. And they just sit on my lap and they'll want what's on my plate. I'm like, it's on your plate too, but they don't see it. They see it on mummy's plate. Much
Yeah.
better when it's on mummy's plate.
Yeah.
Um, and also that piece around when you said before, like, well, why? Just why? And one of my favorite questions to ask my clients is if we're coaching and we're chatting and they say to me, I just don't know. And I'll say to them, well, what if you did know? And
Yeah.
sometimes they'll say, and they might say again, I don't know. And I'm like, I know you're going to hate me, but I'm going to ask you this and then you're going to love me. If you could make it up, what would you say? If you could just make up why? And sometimes that permission slip for the unconscious mind, you just need to be like, oh, let's just pretend. We don't, this is
Yeah.
not serious. We'll just be really, this is just a joke, but like, why?
Yeah.
And then the mind is like, well, here's why. And it is if you keep going deeper,
Yeah.
and for
Yeah.
what purpose is that? For what purpose is that? For what purpose is that? You get the answer.
Yeah. We block ourselves from knowing things. It's like, I'm afraid. So this is why, oh, as tappers, sometimes we have to tap with someone else
Mm.
because if part of me is saying it's not safe to let go of this fear, it's not going to say, and here's the way to open that.
Yeah, here I
Here's the
am.
here's the thing to tap on. It's like,
Yeah.
there's nothing here. There's no problem. No, there's nothing. There's
Look that
nothing
way,
to,
squirrel.
yeah.
Yeah.
Squirrel. Um, that we deceive ourselves. So we need to work with someone who's not invested in that comfort zone.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's giving ourselves that freedom, and that's why I'll often say, don't wait until you know what it is to start tapping. Just start tapping because it's like peeling the layers of the onion.
Yeah.
Because as we're calming down the stress, that stress that's saying, I'm afraid, I'm in danger, don't come near me. Okay, well, maybe I'm not in that much danger. Oh, you know what it might be.
Yes. Yes.
You know.
I love it. I've had some tapping experiences that completely changed my life. The first one was, this is the first time I'd ever done tapping. It was 2008, I think, and I saw this wonderful holistic counselor, and we did tapping. She did tapping with me, and it helped me release a fear whereby I had a session at like 9 or 10 a.m. I went home. I actually opened up Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul. I read a paragraph about fear and I connected it to what I just cleared and released in my tapping session. And I went and I made a life-changing decision that set me on a completely different path that I could never have. I realized that I was living in the fear of fear as opposed to just seeing what the fear was about. The fear of fear was greater than the outcome could have ever been.
Yeah.
And and then a few years later, I was doing my first big corporate speaking event where they had hired me to speak in front of 40 or 50 executives, but also I was a nutritionist at the time. They'd also tasked me with finding the chef and creating the menu and creating little take-home bliss ball bags and writing my talk. And then I was doing my PowerPoints, and it was a lot. And it was a huge, it was my first event, and I had so many roles in the event. That afternoon, I got the worst period pain of my whole existence.
Mm,
Never, not since and not before, like never again has that happened.
yeah.
I was on the floor. I had taken every medication one could take, every herb, because I was also used to practice as a naturopath. And I was like, I cannot get up. I literally had to get ready to go to this event. I was so nervous. And I did some tapping and I did 3 rounds just tapping on. I remember what I said even though I literally have the worst period pain of my whole entire life and I don't know how I'm going to get up off the floor. And I just said that the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 rounds and it stopped like a tap turning off.
Yeah.
And I lay there like bewildered. Am I okay? Like, what just happened? And I tapped already for years, but I'd never had a physical experience like that.
Yeah.
And I literally got up off the floor and got ready, got into the city and had an amazing event. And then I was buzzy, so buzzy afterwards that I ate the raw cacao balls at 11 p.m. when it finished. And then I didn't sleep till 2 a.m. because I was like, damn it, it's raw cacao. It's not chocolate. It's going to make me very awake. But it was a great a way to kick off my corporate speaking career. And I remember that tapping because it completely changed my physical body. The pain
Yeah.
just stopped.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Sometimes it works that way. It's sometimes people hear that and they'll go, so if they do a tapping around, it's like, well, it wasn't life changing like what Cassie said happened to her. It's like, yeah, sometimes I often say this in interviews. Sometimes tapping is like a painkiller.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like a vitamin.
Yeah.
Sometimes we see the result right away. Sometimes there we know from the scientific research. You may know PETA Stapleton has
Mm.
done a lot of the research down there in Australia. uh, there's all kinds of biological markers showing the benefits of tapping that
Yeah.
we might not consciously be aware of. So by doing it, it is benefiting us, just like taking a vitamin. But no one takes a vitamin and says, "Yes, now I feel so good."
Yes. Yes.
We know that it's beneficial because of the research, but we can't consciously be aware of it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with tapping is, and as we're tapping, whether even if we're not sure what the words are, so that's great. What you said, it's like I just have this thought in my head. I'm having this
Mm.
worst period pain, and I can't get off the floor. Great. I had someone just asking me this earlier today. How do you come up with a phrase? Whatever you say, just
Yeah.
and even if it's not the words, just saying, I just feel this pain. I feel this tightness in my shoulder. I don't have to know what it's about.
Yeah.
I just have to know, be able to focus on what's there. And even if I can't even tell, the tapping is going to be clearing whatever distress is in the body.
Mm.
And because we're so afraid of knowing what it is, because we're afraid of the freedom that's on the other side of that and the consequences of that freedom, we may not know that until we start tapping, and then it's like, ah,
Yes.
here's what it is. Boy, if I really do well at this corporate event, my life is really going to change. Oh, darn. It's that time of the month.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, uh, and it's brilliant. It's self-sabotage, is misguided self-love. Your body was trying to save you.
Trying to keep me at home.
And by tapping, you're able to go, I don't need this. I'm
Yes.
okay. It is okay for me to show up and kick butt and have a great event.
Mm.
And then part of me says, yes, and now you have to punish yourself with some rock and not get
Yeah.
sleep.
And not sleep.
I'm treating myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and still loving that self. It's like, you know what? It's okay.
Mm.
I can handle that. Losing sleep. I had a great day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna forgive myself for overindulging, and you know, not only did I do a great event, but I overcame a huge physical pain. It's a huge red letter day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it did. It set me up on a beautiful path of saying, I just did a corporate event for whichever the company was. Can I even remember? I think it was
Yeah.
Morgan Stanley. And then
Oh
I could be
wow.
like, yeah. And then I could say, and now, I got so many other corporate bookings from that one event. And it really was an amazing, like a really big bang. And it's funny because years ago when I was studying naturopathy, one of my lecturers said to us, whichever client comes to sit in front of you, just trust that you will be able to help them. It doesn't matter if you think you've not helped enough. They've come to you for a reason, and you have something that to offer them. You can help them. And I
Beautiful.
remembered that for years because, a client would come and sit in front of me, and I would sometimes think, can I help them enough? Or am I giving them the right herbs, the right protocol? And I always remembered that. And then when I studied kinesiology, we had to do student clinic, right? My very first client in the student clinic came in, and she was a 16-year-old girl. She came in with her mum, and it became quite clear quite soon that she was having essentially a psychotic break. She was extremely
Wow.
unwell. She should not have been coming. That's judgy, but I feel like she should have been in a wonderful hospital, not a student kinesiology clinic. But I was protected that day because my like peer who was in the room with me was a clinical psychiatrist with 30 years experience.
Well manifested.
Yes. Out of everyone who could have been in the room with me, that's who I had. And
Yeah.
I would look at him throughout the session and he didn't say a word. His presence calmed me because I knew that he could read the situation in ways that I wasn't trained to.
Yeah. You had a safety net.
I had a safety net and I did the session as best as I could. And we said goodbye. And when she left, he actually went out and chatted to her mum to see what other help could be, offered, not from the clinic, but suggested.
Yeah.
I fell on the floor sobbing because I'd been holding myself together for an hour, and my nervous system was like, that was a lot. But do you know what it did? It gave me this incredible confidence that it does not matter who comes to me for kinesiology. That was my first session. That I can help anyone. It gave me this just, yeah, this confidence that I really deeply trust that whoever comes to me, I'm helping them in some way,
In some way.
in some way.
Yeah. And it, that's just where I find it helpful to, with the idea of it's through us, not by us.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can help them because it's not up to me. I trust that if I get out of the way, if I can be open enough to let something come through that's going to be beneficial, it
Mm,
may be a mind-blowing breakthrough for them. It may be they just feel a little bit better, but there is a door that's open now, at least open a crack for something that may be next session with me, or it may be with someone else. I may just be loosening the lid on the jar, but it's trusting, okay, if I allow myself to be present,
mm.
something is going to come through that is beneficial. And, and I always trust it's not that I'm so good at what I do. It's God is really good at what I do.
Yeah.
Source, universe, whatever people want to say, that thing that comes through us.
Yeah.
And it's like there are forces, not to say I'm channeling God. Please don't anyone misunderstand what
But
I just said
like
there.
maybe
But it's
kind of. Do
yeah,
you know what
but it's
I mean?
I'm not making no claims that I'm a prophet. And well, here's what God says about this.
Yes.
But that loving force that cares for us, as I get open for it, something's going to come through that's going to be beneficial.
Yeah.
So it's not up to me and my limitations. um I will, I'm aware of my scope of practice, and I will, say, you know this might be something that I know someone who would be better to talk to about this, because they have more experience with it. Just as you had in that situation, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I've got someone here. This is not me, you know, walking in to do surgery with no background. It's like, all
Yeah.
right, just me and the patient and a scalpel, and let's see how this goes.
Yeah. Good luck.
Um, uh, okay, God, I'm gonna dig in here, and I
Yeah.
want you to guide my hand.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready for anything to. Um, but but yeah, it's having that sense of, okay, for some reason I'm in the situation with this person, and I'll have discovery sessions with people, and when I know a little bit about it, it's like I already know that I'm going to refer them to somebody else,
Yeah.
because like this is something that you should do. But I want to talk to them, and so that I can have that conversation with them and say, I appreciate you coming to me. Here's this. Let me give you some ideas of things that you can do on your own, in the meantime. And that's what with the videos that I have out there. I have things about having been abused. It's like, this is not therapy. I'm not going to say, oh, you were abused as a child. I've got a 10-minute video that's going to do that up, just fine. No, but in the meantime, if until you can get to some place, it's like, maybe we can take the edge off, and you can feel a little more peace, and until you can really get the help, that whatever the most beneficial thing for you might be. Open to the possibility that this may be what it is, because we are our own healers. I'm not a healer. I'm a healing guide, and I may say something, that's no big deal, but you may be ready for a healing, and it's like, and you may think that I did it, but it's like, no, I'm just creating the opening, and you're going to do the work. And You may be ready, so I can do the same video that I make. For some person, it's going to be life changing. Someone else is like, meh,
Yeah.
because they that's not what they're looking for. They may not be ready. Their protective self may say, I need to not have this work. I need to resist this being beneficial. No shame, just recognizing, okay, there's some part of me that still feels a need to protect myself in this way.
Yeah.
Great. Hopefully, I'm just loosening the lid on the jar.
Yeah, I love that. And I often say it to my clients if they're worried about, showing up online or offering a service or selling something, if they're worried that people won't like it, or if they're worried about the one person who doesn't like it, I always say, you know what's so wonderful for that person? That person can go and look at the other nine or 800 and whatever something billion people in the world and find someone else who does the version of what you do that they resonate with differently. You get to show up and trust that you're calling in the people who resonate with what you have at this moment in time and
Yeah,
just keep trusting that.
yeah, yeah. It's a win-win situation. It's like, oh, this isn't the right fit. Both of you will gain something from that interaction.
Yeah.
And you know, it, so they go, someone who wants to go out to dinner and they've never had Italian food, they go to an Italian restaurant. Either they find they love it, or it's like, oh, now I know that I don't like Italian food.
Yes.
I now have new information that's going
And
to be
we
very
cannot be
useful.
friends if you don't like
Yeah.
Italian food.
um, Given that I love Italy so much, that would be very problematic for me if that was the case for me. Love it a little too much sometimes. Tap, 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 tap.
No, you can't not eat
Yeah.
pizza for 2 years, Brad.
um, but yeah, now for that person, it's like when someone says, "What do you want to have for dinner?" It's going to be easier for them because it's like, well, not Italian. I know it's not that. So life has gotten easier.
Yeah.
There's always some benefit to everything. When we get stuck when we're at the fork in a road, should I work with this person or should I work with this person? I'm so afraid of making the wrong choice. Well, not making any choice is the wrong choice because
Yeah.
then I'll never know. I may start down this path and either it's, yes, this is the right choice, or no, I know this isn't the right choice. Now I know the other one is the right choice. And so there's a win-win in making that choice.
Yeah. I love it. All right, so I've got one more lovely question for you, and then we're gonna do some tapping. Everyone get ready. So, my as we've been speaking about sabotage and then actually receiving, like moving through the resistance and receiving what we want, what happens when you receive what you want and then you lose it, or something like less than good happens, or you get to that place where you can feel it and you now have to expand your self-concept, expand your capacity to hold that good. That I feel like is a big piece of it because it's one thing to know what we want. It's another, as you said, when we actually receive it, we have to, who do we become then? And what happens in our life then? And that's a huge piece of why we resist the thing we want.
Yeah. So, like, for example, clearing a really painful thing, going out and doing an amazing event, and then keeping yourself up all night by eating rocket just to pull some, idea out of my head of what, an example might be. Um,
Oh, sprung.
and it's brilliant. It's brilliant because
Yeah.
there is a part of us that's like, wow, I'm so proud of myself for expanding my comfort zone, and now I need to bring it back a little bit.
Yeah.
I hear from people often where they'll say, yeah, you know what? I really enjoyed, like, comments on YouTube. I really enjoyed this video. I used to tap a lot more and I knew it was working and I just stopped doing it. I don't know why. And I said, because you knew it was working.
Yeah.
And part of you said, I am getting too far out of my comfort zone. I need to knock it off. Oh, here's a tapping video, a squirrel.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. It's like, don't do another tap. Don't keep tapping because you're going to
Mm,
be too far outside your comfort zone. It's going to freak other people out. The people who know you won't know you anymore. They'll
yeah.
say, "What have you done with the person that I used to be comfortable with?" And or we're afraid that we'll get up in the morning, look in the mirror, and call 911 and say, there's a stranger in my house.
Yeah.
I don't know who this person is. This person who's out there kicking butt all over the world and, making a huge difference and making money and all this. No, thank you. I need to sabotage that. So
Yeah.
we have a people talk about the financial thermostat. We have
Yes.
a success thermostat, a weight thermostat. We have this thing of, if it's too low, I'm going to turn the heat up until it gets up here, then the air conditioning comes on and brings it back to where I've set it or where other people have set it for me.
Yeah.
And so just recognizing, okay, there's that part of me that if I go too far and I can keep raising that level, but I don't know that we're at a level yet to, do one tapping round and I just blow the circuits on the thermostat. And it's like, it doesn't matter. I can make billions of dollars tomorrow and
Yes.
there will be no challenges to my comfort zone. My ego won't be threatened. Everything's going to be fine. No more ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's gradual. It's like, okay, and this is how it's been for me. It's like, oh, I'm making more than money than I used to make and I get stuck there for a bit. And
Yeah.
then the next level is like, oh, okay, and then clear something else. Now there are times where we do have a huge leap, and sometimes that leap is a little too big, and so part of it says, oh, we got to put the brakes on,
Yeah.
and pull it down. And again, being compassionate with ourselves. I love and appreciate that part of me that says, okay, too fast, too
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. Ugh, I love it. And I love that you called out that experience.
I'm sorry. I couldn't. It
No, I
was just,
love
it was
it.
right. It was right there. It was like,
I
as you
mean,
were
I fed it
describing
to
it, it's like,
you.
it was describing it so beautifully. It's like, how could we not use this?
Oh, it's so good. All right, so I'm going to pull a card from my deck. It's based in the kinesiology principles of the five element theory. So finding emotions and energies and frequencies. And so I'll pull a card and then we will start tapping. And for everyone watching, listening, Brad will start and then he did say before we hit record, do I want to tap, like do a round? And I was like, I do, but I'm nervous. So I'm going to be tapping on myself while Brad is tapping because I need to tap before I tap with Brad. And that's my resist. I said to Brad, if I don't tap with you, that's my resistance speaking. And this is the whole point of the show. We're moving through resistance. So I'm very excited to tap
Yeah.
with you. Yep.
I'm excited to have you tap because I'll get something out of it that I won't get if while I'm leading. So
Yes.
please and thank you.
I love it. So, okay, some cards just fell out, but I've just tested it's not for us. Sometimes the deck just makes itself smaller. So here's the card that's come through. Disconnected on the central meridian. So we're going to flip that to be like, let's create more connection. And yeah, connection to ourselves, connection to what we want, connection to receiving, connection to the opposite of whatever the resistance is, whatever you're resisting.
Yeah.
You're gonna, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's to kick us off. And then over to you.
All right. So I'll invite folks to go ahead and close your eyes. Can we assume that your audience is already familiar with tapping? I don't need to describe what
Yes,
EFT is.
yes.
Great.
Yep.
Perfect. So everyone, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and hold it, and let it go. And with your eyes closed, just allow yourself to get centered and grounded. Maybe feeling your feet on the floor, your butt in the chair, whatever part of you is connected to something. Feeling that connection. Allowing yourself to feel centered and grounded. Allowing yourself to be right here, right now, as present as possible so as to receive maximum benefit from this process. And just following your breath through your body, just allow yourself to be aware of what's going on in there. Notice what you feel physically, notice what you feel emotionally. Just checking in with how you're doing. And now think about something that you want. It could be a financial goal, it could be a greater connection to source, to God, to whatever. It could be feeling more connected in your work. It could be feeling more connected to someone in your life, someone in your family, a partner, and maybe rate your level of connection on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being, you know, totally in sync. I'm totally in sync with this money goal, with my creator, with my spouse, whatever it might be. Just notice where you are on that scale of 0 to 10, and do not judge yourself harshly if the number's lower than that. Just allow yourself to get curious. Notice what you're feeling physically. Notice what you're feeling emotionally. And ask yourself, I can't allow myself to feel more connected because dot, dot, dot. Just allow yourself to be aware of what might show up. Again, coming from that standpoint about resistance, that the extent to which I don't have the connection that I want tends to be the extent to which I'm resisting it. And I would only resist it because it doesn't feel safe, or I have doubts about deserving, or whatever it might be. Allow yourself to be aware of what you feel physically, what you feel emotionally, and just notice what thoughts, beliefs, or memories might come up as to why you couldn't or shouldn't feel more connected. And maybe even just feeling more connected to yourself, whatever it might be. And take a deep breath, open your eyes. Even though I might be resisting connection, I choose to love and accept myself. Even though I might be resisting connection, I choose to love and honor myself. Even though I might be resisting connection, part of me might believe that feeling disconnected is the only safe way to be. And even though I might be resisting greater connection, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself, and maybe anyone else who might contribute to these fears, because I choose to feel that free. All right, so going through the points. All this fear of greater connection, all this resistance to greater connection, all this fear of greater connection, all this need to be disconnected. And part of me might argue with that. No, I totally want to be connected to this. Whatever it might be that I'm thinking of, I crave greater connection. So why am I disconnected? I choose to be open to the possibility that there's resistance there. And I'm letting go of any self-judgment about that, letting go of any shame about that. Because I'm probably shoulding on myself. I should be more connected. And the more shame I pile on, the less connected I get. I can't create a better feeling by making myself feel worse, which is all part of my brilliant plan. If connection doesn't feel safe and shame makes me even more disconnected, the plan is working great. And I choose to love and appreciate those parts of me that are so brilliantly keeping me disconnected in order to keep me safe. And I'm allowing myself to reconsider this. What am I afraid would happen if I allowed a greater feeling of connection? And would that really happen? I'm processing this fear, setting myself more and more free to be connected. Over to you, Cassie.
Oh, I love that. Just on a side note, something came through that I would not have thought when you asked that question. So already,
Excellent.
yeah. All right. Even though the thing that I want keeps eluding me, and I feel like it's because I'm not doing enough. What if I could release even that? The thought that I'm not working hard enough for the thing that I want. Because working hard is hard work. And I could be investing my energy in other ways. I could be investing my energy into receiving. I could be investing my energy into softening. I could be receiving so much more if I released the notion that I have to work harder. Because it's true that what I want wants me. It's true that my dreams are dreaming about me too. So instead of gripping onto the energy of what I want, I'm going to open my hand. And from my open hand, I'm going to receive more of what I want. Because abundance is my natural state. And because receiving is my natural state. Over to you, Brad.
Cool, because that was awesome. Some other thoughts came up. All this belief that I should have more, that I don't have enough, which means I'm not enough. So there's something going wrong here. I'm doing something wrong, which makes me more disconnected. Feeling bad does not make me more connected. So the belief that I'm not receiving as much as I should is keeping me from receiving more. And even if I can force more to come my way, it's not going to be energetically happy. It'll never be enough. So with these things I say that I want, the things that I wish to receive, I'm releasing attachment. I desire these experiences, but I don't need them. And part of me is afraid to say that. Then I won't work hard enough. I won't put in the effort. Which begs the question, if there's effort that I can put in to do more good in the world, why wouldn't I do that? I just have resistance there. I have resistance to receiving. And if I try to force that, I'm just making it harder, pushing that water uphill with a sieve. And I love and appreciate those parts of me that are telling me I should do it this way. I should feel this way. Because it brilliantly keeps me safely in my comfort zone. So I'm releasing all these shoulds. I'm allowing myself to think about what I'd like to have. clearing any resistance I might have to that, giving myself the freedom to do what I can do, and trusting that what's mine is coming my way. Letting go of this belief that if it doesn't show up today, it's not working. I've done the tapping wrong. I didn't instantly win the lottery. Great things are coming my way. I'm continuing to clear any resistance. Letting go of all that stuff that gets in the way. I love and appreciate those parts of me that have been trying to keep me safe based on old programming. And I'm setting myself more and more free. You want to add more?
Oh, I love that. Yes, let's go because you know what just happened to me? All my parts started screaming at the new levels of abundance and
Awesome.
receiving, and I was shaking and I was like, "Oh, we've got to keep the yeah." So I'll keep going because that was so big.
For everyone watching, thank you for indulging us. You can drop off at any time, but
Yeah.
why?
Yes, yes.
If you have the time, stick with
Yes.
us.
Stick with us. All right, where are we here? Um, and even though this brings up so many emotions in my body, big sensations that I can feel moving through my system. Maybe my heart is even racing. Maybe my hands are even shaking. Could it be possible that I'm feeling this not because of the fear of what I'm creating, but the excitement at who I become once I receive it? Because nervousness and excitement actually feel the same. Ask me how I know. Tapping with Brad. And so I can shift that consciously. I can turn my resistance into my power. Because as we know, we can't destroy energy, we can only change its form. And so I choose now, with all parts of myself, to transmute my resistance into enoughness. Because I'm doing enough, because I am enough, and because I can receive enough or something better. And I notice now how my body settles into that. I notice how I can take an even deeper inhalation and exhalation. Because all my parts want the same thing. All parts of me want love. All parts of me want safety. All parts of me want freedom. And I get to do the beautiful work to integrate those parts. So that I'm not pushing water uphill with a sieve, but stepping back into the slipstream of life. Back into the flow that actually lets the water carry me. There is so much good here for me to receive. Remember, my natural state is abundantly abundant. And if someone feels offended by my abundance, I can show them the door. It'll be a gorgeous, very big door, an abundant door. But I choose safety in every level that I move into. I create that safety for myself because it is so safe for me to receive what I desire or something even better. Over to
All right, we'll just do a quick wrap up.
you.
Giving myself permission to release any remaining resistance. Not that I should release it, not that I need to release it, not shaming myself if I hang on to some of it, just giving myself permission to consider that it's safe to release it. And I'm loving myself in the process, in body, mind, and spirit. And take a deep breath. Close your eyes, go inside, and allow yourself to think about what it is that you want, and notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how connected you might feel to it. And hopefully it feels like a strong connection. Hopefully it feels safer to connect.
I love that. I went from like a 1 to a 9. So I'm gonna say that worked.
Nicely done.
Yeah. Thank you, Brad. That was so amazing. I loved that so much. I will put links to everywhere. But if there's anything you want to close off with, or anywhere that you want to let people know that you are hanging out the most, or anything else that you want to share, feel free.
Thanks, Cassie. Obviously, my website, tapwithbrad.com.
Yes.
I have a free 5-day program called Success Beyond Belief. So if you go to tapwithbrad.com/success, I love that title. It's like success beyond belief. Wow, it's so much success, but it's the success beyond your current beliefs
Yes.
about what you're allowed to have. I mean, clear that. So that's that, and of course YouTube. I'm Tap with Brad on many of the social media platforms.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here, for tapping with us, tapping with me. It was peak career point for me. So I do not need to slide off my chair
Well,
anymore. I've tapped through all of that, but I'm so grateful and thank you so much.
my pleasure. Thank you so much for what you're doing, Cassie. Thank you for the things you're allowing yourself to do and how you're sharing your gifts. And thank you to everyone who tapped along with us. And thank you for doing the tapping you did, because all kinds of great benefits for me. So that was awesome.
Amazing. Great. Thank you.